Good morning and Happy New Year, everyone. The first video of 2019 on the channel is going to be a slightly complaining video. The Diva, the Adams Wave cabinet, is having problems. Now, admittedly, I haven't played with this one in a while, like actually played it, turned it on once in a while. It's been kind of hard, new job, that sort of thing. So, I turn this thing on, and I get picture and sound, but the buttons, well, the buttons aren't working. These cabinets are some of my favorites that I've ever owned. Pain in the ass to turn on. You literally gotta go to the bottom and flick it out. And yeah, I could put it on a power strip, but that would be too easy. And as you can see, the game loads. So what I did is I originally had the GD-ROM hooked up. I had Capcom vs. SNK 2 in, and I wanted to play some Power Stone. Someone had posted a picture of it on the Dreamcast junkyard, and I was like, oh yeah, I should put that in. It's been a while. And, put it in. Fought with it for a little bit, but the problem is the buttons stopped working. So I thought, well, I'll reseat the loom, which is that right there, which is connected to the Capcom I/O. And I did, and I lost more buttons. The service panel, which is on this side, stopped responding completely. So here's an interesting update. So what I was originally going to say is I took off the JAMMA harness and I cleaned the pins on the Capcom I/O. I took some alcohol and I cleaned it. And then I got the service panel buttons to work again so I could run the test mode and look at what buttons on the panel weren't working. Well, I haven't touched the loom since that time, which was yesterday, and now the service buttons don't work again. And the only way to get into the service mode is to literally press the buttons in the back of the main board of the Naomi to get to that so I can, test the buttons here. Point being, this is going to be a two-parter. I'm pretty sure at this point it's the plastic JAMMA harness itself, and I'll put on screen. I actually purchased one of these, and what we're going to literally have to do is literally solder all 56 pins in order on this new harness at some point. So that won't happen until at least next week, when I get the part in, because, I could use a multimeter and find out which pin specifically is the problem, but in all honesty, if I even touch that harness, it literally falls off. It is not snug it's not a snug connector at all. So realistically, it needs to be replaced no matter what I do. Even if one of the ground, it probably is. I've been told that it's probably a ground pin that's not connecting, and I believe that. But the fact that it falls off and doesn't grip onto the JAMMA connector of any sort, pretty much tells me that that needs to be replaced no matter what I do. So I'm going to start there. Unless you have any suggestions, put them in the comments below. The other thing I'm going to do before I even attempt to cut the wires and replace the harness is I'm going to bring another game. I don't have them with me right now, but I'm going to bring a working CPS2 that I know works and stick it on that harness, and if I run into the same issues, which I'm sure I will, then I'll know for a fact that, it's not the Capcom I/O, because I've considered that it might be the Capcom I/O also. But I find that strange since picture and sound work no problem, and the fact that once I cleaned the pins, at least initially, the service buttons worked again. It could be the weather. I mean, I live in LA and it's cold by LA standards, so maybe temperature has something to do with it. But that harness is very old, and I don't think it's ever been replaced, and I think it's time to do that. So again, this will be at least a two-parter, maybe even a three-parter. When I get the part in, we'll do the testing. Well, first we'll test it. I'll record that, see if it works, see if it, if this cabinet responds. The other thing is interesting, although I'm not sure if that's a problem. The kick harness isn't responding either. So it could be the I/O. That's why we need to make sure. So first things first, bring in a working board that we know works, another cabinet, and then secondly, probably replace that harness regardless. It needs to be done. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put little, some kind of little sticker on each wire, cut it just enough so I have a reference on both sides, and then we're literally going to solder to the one that I showed earlier in the video. Unless you guys have a better idea, or if any of you in LA want to make a few bucks and know how to do this, I wouldn't mind paying you. It scares the fuck out of me because I know if I fuck this up, yeah, it's bad times. Anyway, alright, that's all for now. Happy 2019. This is the way 2019 is starting for me. And Power Stone 2, I'd like to play it, please. Another update at some point is Alberto from the Arcade Project Forums. I am commissioning him to make an Adams Wave control panel, 2-player control panel. So there'll be another video of me replacing this and replacing the buttons. I'm keeping the sticks because they're still good. They're LS56s, which I've done a video about this a long time ago. Check that out. But otherwise, that's going to be another update for that. And then at some point, we'll figure out the light bar on this monster. Anyway, please subscribe and let me know what you think. Thank you.